All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Nestor Diaz of GPS Global Production Source and Mike Sipe Entertainment Events and Productions. Today we are going to be discussing Resolume Arena 7.1.2. I am going to start off by giving you a brief overview of everything up here in our tabs and menu bar, and we'll get a little bit more in depth into everything that is what is considered the composition. Give you a brief overview so that you can understand everything that is listed over here at the very top. We're going to discuss what the composition is to begin. Composition is going to be everything that is in your screen at the moment. This is considered your entire composition. Composition is then going to be followed by your decks. Your decks are going to be down here. These are considered pages and or decks, and you'll be able to add as many of these as you want at a later time. You're also going to have groupings, which we're going to skip because it's going to be a little bit more involved than what we are going to discuss at this foundation video. However, grouping would be that you would be able to take your layers and you'd be able to put them together to create a composition within that group. But like I said, that is a little bit more advanced, and we won't be discussing that at the current time. We are going to follow up with layers. As I discussed, layers are going to run horizontally, and columns are going to run vertically up and down. Horizontal left and right for the layers, and vertically up and down for the columns. Each layer is going to be selected when you're working on it. So if right now I have layer 1 selected, I can select layer 2, layer 3, and so on. Same thing with the columns. If I select the columns, they'll select everything within that column. After that, you're going to have the clip. So we have several panels I'm going to discuss before getting into the clip. Well, actually, I can start with the clip. The clip is a panel of its own, followed by a layer. Composition panel. You have your output monitor panel, and then you have your preview monitor panel. So you can toggle between these to target those individual sections that you want to get to. Your output we'll discuss in more detail in a short time. Your shortcuts and your views as to what you can see and what you can remove. If I wanted to show remove the toolbar, you'll notice that the toolbar got removed, and I will go ahead and show the toolbar one more time, and you notice that these two came back, right? Let me do that one more time in case you didn't see. What you're looking at is the undo and redo buttons, which are there. So if I undo, show undo bar, notice how they disappeared. We'll get back to this in more detail in a second. I really want to start out with our arena preferences. So if you would follow along with me, let's go right into it. When you come to arena, first time that you're opening, you're most likely going to want to start at registration. And registration will allow you to actually input your license key and register this software as yours. When you register your software, mine you'll notice is actually already registered. It gives me a nice little heart with a thank you. There would be a register bar here that you would be able to input that register key and remove the Resolume watermarks and robotic voice that keeps repeating every 30 seconds to every 40 or seconds to a minute. Believe you me, you want to get the license key and support Resolume. Otherwise, you do have all the access to all the Resolume program, but that watermark and robotic voice will drive you crazy and want you to slam your computer to the ground. So I encourage you to support Resolume and get that license key. So we're going to start out with general, and general pretty much tells you where your directory for recording would be. What this means is that if you do a composition within Resolume and you decided to record it, it would be recorded to your particular folder of choice, root folder of choice. In this case, this is the default. A lot of the items that we're going to be working with are going to be left on default, as Resolume has taken steps to ensure they provide you with the best defaults for operation. You can record voice and, or excuse me, audio and or video, and you have a choice to toggle between the two or just leave the two. For our purposes, we'll leave them both together. Clip panel, obviously external triggers. If you have a MIDI controller of sort, you may want to have this off so you don't have any inconvenience or sequencing issues while triggering your clips via external. For now, I'm going to leave it on. Clip offset, if you want to start your clip within milliseconds of the beginning to prevent any sort of blank space and have it start later within the timeline of the actual clip, you can decide to move this to wherever you want it to be and or bring it back to 8 milliseconds, which is just about right. If you can't find it by just moving the slide, you can double click on it, write the 8, and that will put you back at 8 milliseconds. Scrolling with the layers and clips, want to leave this on. Definitely you'll just be able to bring into view the clips that are off the page once you hot cue them into place with, let's say, a MIDI controller. Fonts is if you have your non-Latin characters, you want to leave this off. If you have an issue, if you have your non-Latin characters such as Chinese or Arabian numbers or wording or letters, you may want to flick this on so that you don't have any issues. Since I am using Latin characters, I don't need to have that put in place. But if you have Chinese lettering and or any other language that is not your typical Latin characters, you may want to have this on. Quick confirmation is an excellent thing to have on here, option to have on. You don't want to have this off, and the reason why is because this was put in place to safeguard you from accidentally closing out Resolume and not saving your project prior to. This is great. If I go to actually try to close out my arena, I will get a protection by asking me, do you really want to quit? In this case, I don't want to quit, so I'm just going to press cancel, and like I said, it's a great safeguard for you. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a brief tutorial. I will come back with additional tutorials on the following items, and we hope you follow along.